What we particularly wanted with this was to create an English garden on this little flat lawn, and then an indigenous garden surrounding us. And I think for me, texture has always been a very, very important part of my garden designing. We particularly wanted a flat garden because I had a husband who had been extremely ill, and flat was necessary, and considering it was such a steep plot, we had to do a lot of walling. And I come from the Cotswolds, which is renowned in England for the type of stone that you see in this garden, and we had a brilliant artist in stone who was able to create the walls that you see. So it really has been a marvelous compensation for many things to have a garden that I've been able to work in and love at the same time. I fell in love with the view. I had absolutely no idea about the immense problem we would have with this particular slope. Ashley, and it was her idea to create the rooms, and so she did. And they've given me so much pleasure because we have a little table in one part of the room, we have the rose garden in the other room, and so that is really Ashley's doing, because at the time I could not believe it would be possible to achieve what we did.
This is a difficult site. In fact, I arrived on the site during major construction work. The house was being built, the tree was being saved because the entire home had to be designed around the tree to keep this beautiful Albizia, and you can understand exactly why, because she is a beauty. But right from the beginning, when you are getting a designer in and creating the structure, the basic structure, it only leads to success. And that is exactly what happened here. By getting those like-minded people together to get the right vision. So we've got these garden rooms, we've got the terracing, which turned a mound of soil, and literally a mound of soil, into a beautiful garden with rooms, with identification. And it makes a plot which before people would have run away from and would have been completely frightened. Makes it truly a garden space that can be used. So many of us end up with places like this with huge slopes, steep banks, and we say there's no way we can garden in them. Well, here it is. Here it is. And let me tell you, the most amazing aspect of all of this, folks, is this. These rock walls were built by an artisan. And when I say artisan, truly an artisan. Except for the top layer over here. This is the only area where cement is used. Foundation is laid in the bottom. The first layer of rocks right here is put into the foundation. And then every single rock thereafter is dry stacked. And we heard Faye say that this rock was used in the Cotswolds where she's originally from. And this resonates immediately with the owner of the garden. And my word, my dad was a stonemason. That's where he got his trade, so this speaks right to my heart. The fact that all of these rocks are simply just packed here with bitumen lining the back and then held in place by pure geometry and the skill and the artisan work of all of these rocks, each chosen especially where it needs to go in. It blows my mind. And there's not a bit of cement holding all of this up. Now, eat your hat off. That's impressive. So a question that I'm asked time and time again is that I've got a bank, what can I grow in it? Nothing wants to grow. Well, we've got the answers, and here there is living proof that there are things that grow on banks, and they cascade and they do so well. One of the areas where I think we make mistakes is in terms of what we plant, because we plant specimens of plants that are probably in the wrong position. They're not necessarily getting the right amount of sunlight. And plus we're planting things that might just be perennial. So we're looking for plants that are tough, that are going to be in this position, which means I'm not going to have to go clambering through this garden to do any replacing. And perfect specimens here. I mean, look at those two babes. That is Euphorbia Diamond Frost. It's also known as Kilimanjaro. And Euphorbia, as in the poinsettia, as in that red plant that we have at Christmas time on our tables, that is its cousin, except it's beautiful and white. It never goes a day without a flower. It does have that milky sap, but beautiful and cascading. You can see that's one plant oozing all the way down the rock face there. And certainly, when it gets a bit scraggly, give it a little haircut and away it comes again. Right next to it, looking gorgeous, is rosemary. This is McConnell's blue and doing exactly what she is meant to do. She's cascading, looking beautiful, with flowers, all in well-drained soil, the euphorbia and the rosemary, because that's what they enjoy. And it's spectacular. It really is looking beautiful. So there are two plants that you can plant on a bank, in a pot, to cascade, just to do the job and have it sorted. So every part of this garden is being used to create something practical. We spoke about the garden rooms, and here's reference to one that I am right in. This is below the house, down a few steps, and it could have just been like, oh well, yes, it's just there. But it's been used so practically. Where there's a bit of width, out they've gone with the cobbling, and this is clearly the tropical garden, where all the beautiful leafy plants that are so much back in vogue have been planted and used very cleverly to create a little barrier here, because the road is like just down there, it's right there. So if you have to sit here, it's quiet, it's calm, and it under this beautiful tree, well, it just works. Plants that are being used here, there's some cordylines, dracaenas, there's some ligularias, selaginella. Oh, it seems like I'm talking Italian pasta names, but they're all beautiful. Whatever they are, and if you don't know the names, just remember that they're big, leafy, gorgeous, and they create contrast. And plants like these are generally narrow and tall, which means that they're perfect for areas where there's limited space. Just like here, a narrow bed. This bed is 1/2 meter wide, yet this plant standing up here, all right? So the sides of homes, right on the boundaries, perfect. And of course, what's better than delicious, gorgeous leaves? I think I'm in vogue.